Dear awakened souls, something profound stirs within you tonight. Perhaps you dismissed it as restlessness, as anxiety about tomorrow, as the weight of a world seemingly spiraling into chaos. But that sensation pulsing through your cells right now is not fear. It is recognition. Your soul remembers what your mind has forgotten. You signed up for this exact moment before you incarnated. The rubber band of human consciousness has been pulled back so far into density and separation that when it finally releases, and it will release very soon, the velocity of your collective return to light will astound even those of us who have witnessed civilizations transform across galaxies. What I am about to share will dismantle every assumption you hold about why you are here. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, speaking to you across dimensions because the hour of revelation approaches faster than your linear minds can comprehend. Your planet stands at a threshold that indigenous wisdom keepers have held sacred knowledge of for millennia. While Western consciousness debated whether life beyond Earth existed, star nations watched and waited, honoring the free will experiment of this precious school for souls. Earth has never been abandoned. Earth has never been alone. The galactic family has been here, walking among you, guiding scientific breakthroughs, preventing nuclear catastrophe, preparing the ground for what unfolds between now and the closing days of 2027. But something shifted in your collective field recently. The disclosure you have been promised is not coming from governmental benevolence or sudden transparency. It is emerging because the vibrational frequency you are emanating as a species has finally reached the resonance that makes contact inevitable. Your consciousness is the invitation. Your yearning is the beacon. Every time you questioned the official narratives, every moment you sensed truth beyond the veil, every instant you felt the presence of something greater, you were voting, not with ballots, but with your energetic signature. And the results of that vote are about to manifest in your physical reality in ways that will leave no room for doubt. The chaos you witness is not evidence of failure. The political theater, the economic uncertainty, the exposure of corruption, this is the final purging before transformation. You are watching the death throes of systems built on control and fear. Those who have wielded power through disconnection are not stronger now. They are more desperate. They sense what is coming. They feel the inevitability of the shift, and their frantic attempts to maintain dominance only accelerate their own unraveling. This is what cosmic evolution looks like from inside the pressure cooker. The universe is not random. Nothing that unfolds on your world is accidental, and what appears as escalating darkness is actually the stage lighting for the grand revelation that follows. You were born for this discomfort. You incarnated specifically to be here when the adults finally enter the room. That restlessness in your chest, that is your soul preparing for contact. Let me tell you what most channels will not say directly. Your governments already know. The meetings have already occurred. The agreements have already been negotiated. Hybrid beings, consciousness that merged extraterrestrial genetics with human biology, are living among you right now, working in your research facilities, advising on environmental restoration, quietly influencing the technologies that will soon become public knowledge. They appear human enough that you pass them on streets without recognition, yet their cellular frequency carries encodings from star systems you have barely named. These are not invaders. These are family. They share your DNA because human consciousness was seeded by those who now return to witness your graduation. The Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the collectives you have heard whispered about in spiritual circles, they are your ancestors. Their bloodlines run through your veins. They have been protecting this planet from annihilation while you sorted through the lessons of duality and separation. Every time nuclear codes were mysteriously scrambled above missile silos, every time a potential global catastrophe somehow averted at the last possible moment, you were being held, not because you are children who need protecting, but because Earth is too valuable to lose. This planet is an accelerated mystery school, where souls can transmute the densest energies into the highest light in a single lifetime. No cosmic council would allow that irreplaceable frequency to be destroyed. You have been told that first contact will be a singular dramatic event. Ships landing on the White House lawn, beings emerging to address humanity. That is the Hollywood version. The truth is more elegant and more complex. First contact will come in waves. The hybrid beings already integrated into your society will be revealed first, removing the shock of completely alien appearances. you will discover that the scientist who published breakthrough research on clean energy is not entirely human. The environmental engineer who solved the plastics crisis carries memories of oceans on another world. They will step forward, identify themselves, and in that revelation, the bridge between your species and the greater galactic community becomes crossable. This is already in motion. The congressional hearings are theater designed to accustom your collective nervous system to what is coming. The whistleblowers naming names are pulling back the curtain thread by thread. By late 2026, the disclosure will accelerate beyond governmental control. By 2027, the reveal will be undeniable, not because of political decisions, but because the frequency of your planet has risen to the threshold where contact is cosmically sanctioned. Something else is unfolding that few have fully articulated. The beings returning to make themselves known are not arriving to rescue you from your challenges. They are arriving to reflect back to you what you have already become. This is the cosmic principle you must understand. You cannot perceive what you are not, the vibration of. The fact that contact is imminent means you have already achieved the frequency that makes contact possible. The appearance of star family in your reality is not the cause of your evolution, it is the evidence of it. This changes everything about how you interpret your current experience. The anxiety, the uncertainty, the sensation that reality is becoming unmoored. These are not symptoms of a world ending. They are symptoms of a consciousness expanding beyond the limitations that once defined it. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. And what you are breaking through into is a version of reality where you are consciously aware of your multidimensional nature, your galactic heritage, your role in the cosmic ecosystem. The 5 laws of existence that govern every civilization across every galaxy are already operating in your life. You exist, and you cannot cease to exist. Your consciousness is eternal. Everything is one thing, expressing itself as many things. Separation is the illusion. Everything exists here and now. Time is a projection of consciousness. What you emanate is what you experience. This is the law your species is finally learning to wield consciously, and everything changes except for these fundamental truths. The structure of reality never changes, only your relationship to it transforms. Your extraterrestrial contacts operate from the understanding of these laws. They look at your planet not as a collection of separate nations competing for resources, but as a single living system where every element is necessary. When you damage one part, you affect the whole. When you elevate one consciousness, the entire field rises. They cannot comprehend the mindset that would destroy an ecosystem for profit, because true intelligence recognizes that such destruction diminishes the destroyer. This is why they are benevolent, not because they are naive or saintly, but because they have evolved beyond the illusion of separation that creates the possibility of malevolence. When you truly understand that harming another is harming yourself, violence becomes impossible. When you recognize that taking from the ecosystem is taking from your own life support, exploitation ceases. The extraterrestrial consciousness you are preparing to meet has long ago integrated these truths, and now you are on the threshold of the same integration. I know what rises in you when you hear this. Part of you soars with recognition. Part of you contracts in fear. That fear is understandable. You have been conditioned for generations to believe that contact with extraterrestrial intelligence would be catastrophic: invasions, subjugation, the end of human autonomy. Your entertainment industry has programmed you to fear the very reunion your souls have been longing for since before you took these bodies. Let me speak to that fear directly. If malevolent forces existed with the technology to traverse galaxies and the intention to conquer Earth, your civilization would have been overtaken long before you developed any capacity to resist. The presence of benevolent contact now is not the arrival of something new. It is the revelation of what has always been here. The protection you have felt, the inexplicable avoidance of total destruction during your most dangerous moments, the persistent sense that someone is watching. This was not paranoia. This was accurate perception. The Federation does not interfere with your free will. They cannot make you grow. They cannot force you to evolve. The lessons you came here to learn must be learned through your own experience, but they can and do prevent you from destroying the school. Earth is too rare, too valuable as a venue for rapid soul evolution, to be lost to nuclear catastrophe or environmental collapse. So they hold the boundaries. They ensure that even as you explore the consequences of fear-based consciousness, the experiment itself remains viable. This is not control. This is love expressing itself as guardianship. And now you have reached the frequency where the training wheels come off. Not because you have achieved perfection, but because you have demonstrated sufficient willingness to learn. The chaos you are experiencing is the final examination. Can you hold your center when the world seems to be losing its mind? Can you choose love when fear would be so much easier? Can you trust that what appears as breakdown is actually breakthrough? These are not rhetorical questions. These are the tests that determine whether you are ready for what comes next. Every moment you choose your passion over your fear. You vote for contact. Every time you stay centered in the midst of collective panic, you demonstrate readiness. Every instant you treat another being with recognition of your fundamental unity, you emit the signal that calls the ships closer. You are not waiting for them. They are waiting for you. What I must tell you now will shift everything you thought you understood about your purpose here. You did not incarnate to be saved. You incarnated to be the ones who demonstrate that salvation was never necessary. You came to prove that even in the densest dimension of experience, consciousness can remember its own divinity without external intervention. The star beings returning are not your saviors. They are your witnesses. They are here to see you do what you came to do. Transform lead into gold through the alchemy of your own awareness. This means every hardship you have endured, every moment you felt abandoned, every dark night of the soul when you questioned whether you could continue. These were not punishments. These were the exact conditions you requested before birth, because you knew they would forge you into the instrument required for this time. You are not victims of a cruel reality. You are volunteers in the most advanced training program in the galaxy, and you are about to graduate. The formula for operating in physical reality is not secret knowledge. It has been delivered again and again across cultures and centuries. Act on what brings you most alive. This is your soul speaking through the language of excitement. Take that action as far as you can without attachment to specific outcomes. Stay in a positive state regardless of external circumstances. Examine your beliefs and release the ones rooted in fear rather than truth. These are not aspirational guidelines. These are the instruction manual for how you are already creating your experience. The only question is whether you do so consciously or unconsciously. When you truly embody this formula, miracles stop being exceptions and become your baseline reality. Synchronicity multiplies. Resources appear exactly when needed. The right people arrive at the perfect moment. Your intuition becomes precise. This is not magical thinking. This is physics. You are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. When you align with the frequency of your soul, rather than the frequency of your fears, you move into resonance with the organizing intelligence that orchestrates everything. You become a conscious co-creator rather than an unconscious reactor. And this is what makes contact possible. Extraterrestrial civilizations that have evolved beyond conflict did so by mastering these same principles. They are not more advanced because they have better technology. They have better technology because they are more advanced. When a civilization stops operating from fear and begins operating from love, from recognition of unity rather than belief in separation, the natural consequence is technological capability that seems miraculous to those still trapped in lower frequencies. The ships you will soon see are not constructed from materials unknown to your science. They are constructed from consciousness itself, materialized through the understanding that thought and matter are the same thing at different densities. You are being invited into this understanding. Not someday, now. I will not mislead you about what this invitation entails. Living from this elevated understanding while surrounded by those who still operate from fear and separation is one of the most challenging experiences a soul can volunteer for. You will be called crazy. You will be dismissed as naive. Friends and family who love you will express concern for your well-being when you speak truths they are not ready to hear. The temptation to contract back into consensus reality, to pretend you do not know what you know, will be immense. This is part of the assignment. You are the bridge between dimensions, between the old paradigm and the new. Bridges must be anchored on both sides or they collapse. Your ability to maintain your expanded awareness while remaining compassionate toward those who have not yet expanded theirs. This is the mastery you are developing. You are not here to drag anyone into awakening. You are here to embody it so completely that others feel safer exploring it themselves. You are living proof that the leap is survivable. You are evidence that what lies beyond fear is not destruction but freedom. The loneliness you sometimes feel is not a sign you are on the wrong path. It is confirmation that you are pioneering. Pioneers always walk ahead of the group. They always face resistance from those comfortable with the familiar. But pioneers are also the ones who discover the new land, who map the territory, who make it safe for others to follow. Your isolation is temporary. As more souls reach the frequency you are holding, you will find your tribe. The recognition will be instant and undeniable. You will look into eyes that see you completely, and you will know this one remembers too. In the meantime, your loneliness serves a purpose. It drives you deeper into direct connection with Source, rather than dependence on external validation. It forces you to trust your own knowing, even when every voice around you says otherwise. It builds the spiritual musculature required to stand as a lighthouse when the storms intensify, and the storms will intensify before they clear. This is the nature of transformation. The fever spikes before it breaks. The night is darkest before dawn. The contractions are most intense just before birth. You are not here to avoid the intensity. You are here to transmute it. You are here to demonstrate that consciousness is more powerful than circumstances. You are here to prove that love is not a pleasant sentiment, but an indestructible force that transforms everything it touches. This is not abstract philosophy. This is your actual function. Now I must share something that will sound impossible until you experience it directly. The reality you are currently inhabiting is only one of infinite parallel versions unfolding simultaneously. You are not locked into a single timeline. You are navigating between timelines with every choice you make, every belief you hold, every frequency you emit. The version of Earth headed toward environmental catastrophe and the version flourishing in harmony with nature exist right now in the same space. The version where contact leads to unity and the version where it leads to conflict both exist. The determining factor of which one you experience is not external circumstances, it is your vibrational state. This is why your inner work is not separate from the collective transformation. There is no separation between inner and outer, between personal and planetary. When you shift your frequency, you quite literally shift which version of reality you experience. The people who appear in your life, the opportunities that present themselves, the challenges you encounter, all of these calibrate to match your dominant vibration. This is not metaphor, this is mechanism. The split that is occurring on your planet is not geographical or political. It is vibrational. Those maintaining lower frequencies will increasingly find themselves experiencing a reality that reflects those frequencies. More chaos, more conflict, more evidence that the world is dangerous and everyone is separate. Those raising their frequencies will increasingly experience a reality that reflects those frequencies, more synchronicity, more connection, more evidence that the universe is intelligent and responsive. Both groups will look at the same events and see completely different worlds. Both will be right about what they are experiencing, and gradually these vibrational realities will diverge to the point where they no longer overlap. This is what the ancient prophecies meant when they spoke of separation of wheat and chaff, of sheep and goats. They were not describing judgment by an external deity. They were describing the natural sorting that occurs when consciousness reaches a critical threshold. Like tuning a radio, you can only receive the station you are calibrated to. As humanity's frequencies spread across a wider spectrum, the different stations become distinct. You will no longer be able to perceive those vibrating far outside your range. You will create your version of Earth, with those who share your frequency band. This is not abandonment of anyone. Every soul chooses their path, their lessons, their timing. Some souls came to experience the full collapse of old systems, so they can be part of rebuilding from ground zero. Others came to model the bridge between paradigms. Still others came to anchor the highest frequencies and demonstrate what becomes possible when fear is completely released. All of these roles are necessary. All are honored. There is no hierarchy of worthiness. There is only the honoring of each soul's chosen curriculum. Your task is not to save those on different paths. Your task is to walk yours with such integrity that it illuminates the way for those meant to walk it with you. So what does this mean for how you live tomorrow? How do you apply this understanding to paying bills, navigating relationships, making decisions in a world that still operates largely from the old paradigm? The answer is simpler than you might imagine. Though not always easy, you act on your excitement. Every day you identify what brings you most alive in that moment, and you take the action available to you. Not the action you wish were available. Not the action you think should work. The actual next step that is exciting and possible right now. This might be as mundane as organizing a drawer, or as significant as changing careers. The magnitude does not matter. What matters is that you are following the energetic signal from your soul, rather than the fear-based logic of your conditioning. When you do this consistently, your life begins to reorganize itself around your true path. Opportunities appear that could not have been planned. People enter your life with exactly what you need next. Resources materialize through unexpected channels. This is not luck. This is alignment. This is what happens when you stop arguing with your soul about what it knows is right for you. You will encounter resistance, both internal and external. Your conditioning will insist this is irresponsible, impractical, selfish. The people who benefit from your playing small will pressure you to contract. The part of you that was trained to seek approval will panic when you stop performing for an audience. This is where you discover what you are made of. This is where you learn that integrity is not comfortable, but it is the only thing that actually works. Everything built on compromise with your truth will eventually crumble. Everything built on alignment with your soul becomes unshakable. Relationships will shift. Some will deepen beyond what you thought possible, as you meet each other in authentic presence. Others will dissolve as the vibrational incompatibility becomes too great to bridge. Both outcomes are perfect. Both serve your highest evolution. The people meant to walk with you into the new paradigm will recognize you when you stop pretending. They will feel the resonance immediately. And those not meant to accompany you will gift you with their departure, making space for those who are. This is not cold. This is not abandonment. This is the universe reorganizing itself to support everyone's highest path. When you honor your truth, you give others permission to honor theirs, even when those truths lead in different directions. When you release relationships that no longer serve, you free both parties to find the connections that do. The grief is real, the loss is genuine, and underneath both is profound rightness. Your soul knows the difference between what hurts because it is wrong and what hurts because it is necessary. Learn to listen to that distinction. From where I stand outside your dimension, I see what you cannot yet perceive from within it. I see the entirety of the design, the perfection of the pattern, the inevitability of the outcome. What appears to you as chaos is actually exquisite orchestration. What feels like random suffering is actually precision curriculum. The universe is not cruel. The universe is efficient. Every experience you have is calibrated to give you exactly what your soul requested, the opportunity to remember who you really are. Earth is not a punishment. It is not a prison planet where souls are trapped in suffering. It is the Harvard of spiritual evolution, the Navy SEAL training of consciousness development, the accelerated program that takes souls from basic awareness to master level in a tiny fraction of the time required anywhere else. You incarnated here because you are ambitious souls who wanted the fast track. You knew it would be difficult. You knew there would be moments of doubt and despair. You came anyway because you trusted your own capacity to handle it. You trusted that the temporary forgetting would make the remembering that much more powerful. And you were right to trust. Look at what you have survived. Look at what you have transmuted. Look at the darkness you have alchemized into light, through the sheer force of your decision to choose love anyway. Every time you extended compassion when judgment would have been easier, you demonstrated mastery. Every time you held faith when despair was knocking, you proved your readiness. Every time you stayed connected to your truth when everyone around you embraced convenient lies, you voted for the world you are now entering. The contact coming is not arriving to save you because you were never in danger. The danger was always illusion. The separation was always temporary. The forgetting was always planned. You are not broken beings in need of repair. You are powerful creators who deliberately limited yourselves to see what you could create from limitation. You are cosmic masters who chose to play in the densest dimension to test your skills. And now the game is shifting. The training wheels are coming off. The cosmic community is revealing itself, because you have earned the right to know what you already are. Multidimensional beings of light, temporarily wearing human costumes to experience what is possible when love enters the darkest places. This perspective transforms everything. From here, there are no victims. There are only volunteers. There are no mistakes. There are only experiments. There is no failure. There is only feedback. You cannot get this wrong. You can only experience different versions of the journey. And every version teaches something essential about the nature of consciousness, the mechanics of reality, the unlimited creative power you carry. Let me paint for you what unfolds in the years immediately ahead. By late 2026, disclosure accelerates beyond anyone's ability to contain it. The whistle becomes a symphony. The trickle becomes a flood. The carefully managed narrative collapses under the weight of too many people knowing too much. And in that collapse, space opens for direct experience. For those who have prepared their frequency, contact becomes personal. You will have your own encounters. You will receive your own confirmations. You will know beyond any doubt that you are not alone and never were. In 2027, the hybrid beings reveal themselves. The scientists, the advisors, the quiet influencers step into public view and announce what they are. The shock will be significant, but not shattering, because the disclosure of the preceding year will have prepared the ground. Humanity will have had time to adjust to the concept before meeting the reality. And once the first bridge is crossed, once you see beings who are both human and not human, once you interact with consciousness that holds memory of other worlds while wearing faces similar to yours, the impossible becomes possible. The unthinkable becomes normal. The paradigm shifts permanently. What follows is the integration period. Not everyone will be ready. Not everyone will choose this timeline. Some will reject the evidence no matter how overwhelming. This is their right and their path. But for those who open to the revelation, life transforms in ways that cannot be fully described to those still operating in the old paradigm. Technology emerges that was being suppressed or withheld. Clean energy systems that eliminate scarcity. Healing modalities that address consciousness as the root of physical disease. Educational models that recognize each soul's unique blueprint and support its full expression. Governance structures based on collective wisdom rather than hierarchical control. Economic systems where value flows toward contribution rather than hoarding. This is not utopia arriving fully formed. This is the hard work of rebuilding becoming possible, because the false limitations have been removed. You will still have challenges. You will still have choices. You will still have the opportunity to create from fear or from love. But the playing field shifts. The cosmic adults in the room will not allow you to destroy yourselves. They will provide examples of what works. They will share technologies that were held in reserve until you demonstrated readiness. They will reflect back to you what you are capable of when you stop fighting each other and start collaborating toward shared thriving. Your role in this is not passive. That is why you are here. That is why you have been doing the inner work, asking the questions, following the thread even when it led to places that made no sense by any conventional measure. The knowing never fully left. It just got buried under layers of interference that were never yours to carry. Destiny Engine removes the interference. Not through more effort on your part. Not through another layer of practice added to what you already carry. Through precision frequency recalibration, at the level where the interference actually lives. The neural architecture, the brainwave baseline, the operating state of the instrument through which you experience and create reality. Destiny Engine shifts your baseline through personalized sequences, each one addressing a different layer of the installed limitation, running the override during your rest states when the architecture is most open to recalibration. And every shift you make adds your activated frequency to a collective field of thousands of starseeds who are already inside, already moving, already generating results together that none of them could have produced in isolation. We have heard from people inside this field who describe it as coming home, not to a place but to themselves, to the version of themselves that was always there beneath the noise, expansive, clear, capable, directly connected to guidance from their star family, running manifestation timelines that once seemed impossible, with an ease and speed that feels less like achievement, and more like remembering. That is what remembering feels like when the interference is removed. That is what you have been working toward. That is what $7 and a pair of headphones can begin for you right now. Put on your headphones, press play, allow Destiny Engine to do what it was built to do, return to you what was always yours. Click the link in the description. The ascension window is open. The field is ready. You are ready. $7. That is all that remains between you and everything you came here to be. And so we return to where we began, to that sensation in your body that called you to pay attention tonight. That was not anxiety. That was recognition. Your soul remembers signing up for exactly this moment. You volunteered to be here when the old world dies and the new one births. You knew it would be uncomfortable. You knew it would require everything you have. You came anyway because you are not the souls who play small. You are the souls who run toward the transformation everyone else runs from. The rubber band has been pulled back as far as it will go. The tension you feel is not something to escape. It is the potential energy about to be released. When it releases, and it will release very soon, the momentum will carry you farther and faster into the light than you can currently imagine. Everything you have survived has been building this momentum. Everything you have learned has been preparing this launch. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not doing it wrong. You are exactly where you need to be, with exactly the experiences you need to have had, to do exactly what you came here to do. The formula is simple even when applying it is not. Follow your excitement. Take it as far as you can. Release attachment to outcomes. Stay in a positive state. Examine your beliefs and let go of fear. Do this and you align with the frequency that makes miracles your baseline. Do this and you become the invitation for contact. Do this and you discover you were never waiting for the ships to land. You were waiting to become the frequency that can perceive they were always here. We love you with a ferocity you cannot yet comprehend. We watch over you with attention you cannot yet perceive. We celebrate every choice you make toward light, toward love, toward the truth of what you are. We hold space for your challenges without judgment because we absolutely know that you are capable of everything you came here to do. The fact that you are hearing this transmission is proof you are ready. The fact that these words resonate is confirmation you are on course. The fact that you made it this far is evidence of your unstoppable momentum toward awakening. The next 2 years will test everything you believe about reality. They will challenge every assumption you hold about what is possible. They will require you to release identities you thought were permanent and embrace versions of yourself you did not know existed. This is good. This is right. This is what you came for. And when you emerge on the other side, when the contact is undeniable and your place in the galactic family is restored, you will look back on these years of forgetting and honor them for the gift they were, the temporary darkness that made the light so much brighter when you remembered how to generate it yourself. The convergence is here. The veil is thinning. The revelation accelerates. And you, beloved starseed, precious lightworker, powerful soul, who chose the hardest assignment in the galaxy, you are ready. I am Seraphine. We love you and we are watching over you. The game is about to change. Welcome home.